חסדים ומכל האמת.
So I remember walking through the halls of Ner Tamid the first time I came here and seeing all the plaques on the wall, plaques dating back to the beginning of the century, the beginning of the last century actually, and seeing such a rich history, seeing so many names of people in the community, walking through the front lobby and seeing a picture of Rabbi Leibowitz and knowing from being a Ner Israel graduate myself, as he was, knowing all about him and knowing how much of an impact he had on the community. Hearing about all the past stories of Ner Tamid and how vibrant of a community it was, and how it was really the heart of the Greenspring area. And on the one hand, that could be intimidating, but at the same time, it really gave me a sense of history and a sense of purpose. And I'm a firm believer that history doesn't just go and fall off a cliff. History has to go and build towards something. In Judaism, we have the term that we use for a child is the term ben, which means a child, but it also comes from the term binyan, a structure, a building. And the idea is that each generation builds on the generation before it. And so walking in here, I certainly got a certain sense of history, and that was a very important component of the shul, and it still is a very important component of the shul, knowing that we're not just in a vacuum, we're not starting from scratch, but we're building on something very fundamental. So when it comes to visions, there are two pieces to visions. On the one hand, we are an Orthodox synagogue, and therefore we have a very clear vision. It's called the Torah. It gives us direction, it tells us where to go. But at the same time, it is a general rule when it comes to visions and comes to trying to lay out a mission statement. I'm a firm believer that it can't be imposed from the outside, it has to come from within. And what my wife and I saw when we first walked into the shul is something many people see, and that is the warmth and the unity and the togetherness of the people. But there's something a little bit deeper, which I didn't fully appreciate in the beginning, and that is there's a certain genuineness, a certain search for truth, a certain desire to grow, which we saw. And my sense of vision, the purpose, the mission statement over here in the synagogue is really to build on that sense of unity, but also to build on that genuineness, to build on that true seeking out of truth and trying not to create something new, but to fan those flames, to be able to grow on that and to build on that. One of the aspects of Ner Tamid is a sense of so many different types of people coming together. You walk into this room, and I remember when I walked into the room the first time, I saw so many different types of people. There's a trend right now in Judaism, and really in the world. In Orthodoxy, we call it the shtibelization of Judaism. The idea that every person, every single age, and every single type of, wherever they are in the socioeconomic totem pole, they will start their own little group of people which will pray together. And what we have over here is something radically different, but radically traditional. And that is a true Beit Knesset, a true place of gathering. This is what we are. We are a place where you walk in on a Saturday morning and you'll see Shacharitz led by a 25-year-old teaching new songs to the congregation. Everyone's clapping along, everyone's getting into it. So then Musaf will be led by a 90-year-old Holocaust survivor singing old European tunes. And then at the end of the prayers, you'll look at the bima and you'll see tens and tens of young children, boys and girls getting up there singing Adon Olam together. That is a reason to come here. If you want to grow, if you want to expand yourself and not just be surrounded by people that you know, but you want to really become a bigger person, a better person, you grow by becoming part of a unit that's bigger than you yourself. And we have that. This is a true, I can't think of a place where the term Beit Knesset rings more true. This is what we are. We're Ner Tamid, which is a Beit Knesset, a place of gathering. We provide for all those different types of groups, which is a challenge, but it's great. There are activities, there are events which reach out to all those different types of people. There are classes that reach out to people who are very well advanced. We have professors of Judaica coming to class. We have yeshiva graduates. And we also have people who have no background, people who are just beginning their journey into spirituality, people who are just becoming Jewish, who are coming to classes, and we try to provide for all those people. So whether you're affiliated, whether you're ultra-Orthodox, wherever you're coming from, I do think that we have something to provide. And that's really goes back to our tagline. If you look at all our, and wherever you see Ner Tamid's name, you'll always see something for everyone right under it. And I think that really goes back to this idea of being a Beit Knesset. It's a place of gathering. It's a place with very wide doors which are wide open, like Abraham and Sarah's tent. I mean, that's what we are. We're a place where anyone and everyone could be comfortable. They could find a place, something that speaks to them, something that's spiritual, something that will help them grow. And I think that would bring anyone back. Model of a synagogue. You know, there are different terms that we could use to describe a synagogue. And there are different terms, then you go to different synagogues, they'll use different terms to describe them. There is the Beit Knesset model. It's a place of pure socialization. It's a place where people are coming together to talk and to congregate, to have Kiddush together. That's great. I'm all for that. There's another model, which is called a Beit Tefillah, which is a place of prayer. And not just prayer, but a place of growth. A place where people really want to connect spiritually to Judaism. They want to create a relationship with God. What I would like to create, and not even create, like I said before, really to fan the flames of, is a place where we're able to mix those two together. To be a Beit Knesset, to be a place where people are gathering, a place of socialization, all those different ages, all those different backgrounds, and also to be a Beit Tefillah, to be a place where every single person can find something that talks to them spiritually. Whether it's a Karbach minyan and dancing beautifully on a Friday night, whether it's a Saturday afternoon Navi class where people can learn a little bit more about their heritage, whether it's the Talmud classes, the Jewish philosophy classes, or the growth classes that we have together in more informal settings. There is a place here, near Tamid, which bridges together those two very different things, a hybrid of two different models of synagogue, and one, a Beit Knesset and Beit Tefillah. That's what we have over here. And me talking about it is almost a waste of time. You have to come here to see it, to see the different types of people connecting to different things, the people socializing, coming to Kiddush and coming to classes, all working in four walls. That's what we have over here, the Beit Knesset and Beit Tefillah. We see a shul, I see a shul, and my wife and I see a shul as a family unit. We both grew up in homes where our families were very involved in the synagogue, but it wasn't just in the synagogue. It was about bringing that back home. Or we both grew up with family meals where tens and tens of people would be crowded into our little living rooms and dining rooms to join for Shabbat meals or for Yom Tov meals. And the reason for that is because my wife and I, from the beginning, we discussed before we even looked towards Ner Tamid, but we saw ourselves as a team. We saw ourselves as a unit. And as in a synagogue, you have a rabbi, but there's also the Rebbetzin. And the Rebbetzin, to a large extent, acts like a mother to the synagogue. You know, that means that on the one hand, she has her own things. She is a guidance counselor in a local school. She is a mother of 3 wonderful children. But at the same time, she sees the people of the shul as her children. So when people are looking for that non-judgmental connection, when people are looking for that positivity that only a mother could give, the true love, the true concern, that's where they look towards my wife, because that's her role, that's what she sees her role as a Rebbetzin. In addition to that, in addition to being that loving source in the shul, she is also someone who gives many classes, somehow finds the time to be able to give lectures, and is a guiding force. I don't do anything without checking into my chief of staff, and that's my wife. I mean, there's nothing that happens in the shul that she is not a real part of. Whether you see her standing there at the pulpit or not, she's there. She's part of it. She's a part of every event that takes place over here. She's a part of everything, and that's something that we need. Again, Judaism is about building the family units, building and growing together as one family, and as a synagogue, I believe that the Rebbetzins' true role is that of a mother, and she does a wonderful job. One word to describe Ner Tamid. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Motzen was good.
There's just an amazing energy right now. You walk through, we had an event last night, you walk through the doors, all ages, people are just enjoying themselves, but people are also connecting. Awesome, energy, positive, great. Those are the words that come to mind. Cliche, maybe, but I ask you to come here and see it for yourself, because it's real. It's not just talk. We are a modern Orthodox synagogue, and it's a term which there's a lot of debate. What does it mean to be modern Orthodox? And to me, I see it really as a wide umbrella. The idea of being modern, being connected to this world, and Orthodox, being able to draw upon a 3,000-year-old tradition and somehow bridging those two together, that's what modern Orthodoxy is to me. And that's why you walk through the doors over here and you'll see people from all different types of backgrounds. Modern Orthodox? Sure. They are modern in the sense that they are very much a part of this world. They are Orthodox, and Orthodox can mean different things to different people. But we are a shul with that wide umbrella where people of all different backgrounds could be here, be comfortable, and feel connected as well. You know, I stand here as a messenger for Torah, for Judaism, for our tradition. And if people walk away from synagogue, that they've grown, that they've brought more love into their relationships, that they've come more connected to God, that they become better people, That's the message, not my message. It's the message of the Torah, and that's what we're here for. We're here to, my goal is to bring that message closer to the people. I'm just sitting here and taking those messages and trying to bring them home, trying to make them relevant to the people, which they are relevant. It's just a matter of framing it the right way and bringing those messages home. About how we would see the synagogue, what the synagogue should look like in 5 to 10 years from now. And on the one hand, of course, I'd like to see more physical growth. I'd love to see more people. Thank God, high holidays, every seat's taken, and then some. We have chairs everywhere. We should have that every Shabbat, every Shabbos. We should have that as well. I think that would be a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. But in terms of the growth of the shul, I don't just see that in terms of the physical growth, in terms of more population. I want the growth to be a deeper growth as well. There's been tremendous growth. I've seen families change. I've seen people become more connected, and I'd love to see that depth of growth as well. So I'd like to grow in 2 directions, vertically and horizontally. I want us to be able to expand, both physically but also spiritually, to become a stronger place, stronger Jews, more committed people, great people. And that's really my vision for the synagogue, to build on what we're doing over here, to take that Beit Knesset model and Beit Tefillah model and to grow them and to build on them, and to become a larger, but deeper and greater place.